Welcome back to another episode of the Holocore. Today's file: Artifact Weapons of Vrykul Kings. Of all the legendary kings of the Vrykul that strive for glory, none compare to the ambitious MAGNAR ICEBREAKER. As with most Vrykul, MAGNAR ICEBREAKER strived to die in glorious combat so that he could ascend to the great halls of valor and join the ranks of Odin's mighty Valajar. During one of Magnar's campaigns in the wilds of the north, the Vrykul laid eyes upon the great aspect Neltharion who flew overhead. MAGNAR knew Neltharian's lair was located close to the Vrykul homeland of Stormheim, and curiosity racked his mind as he wondered what sort of treasures lay within the great dragon's domain. MAGNAR's curiosity became an obsession, which brought him and his allies to the lair of Neltharion. Although the dragon aspect had been away from his lair, MAGNAR and his forces were overwhelmed by the other black dragons within, and during their attempt to escape, Neltharion himself returned. Infuriated at the Vrykul for their trespassing and attempted thievery, Neltharion unleashed a torrent of molten flame upon them. Desperate and disarmed, MAGNAR seized the closest object near him, a shed black dragon scale of Neltharion, and held it in front of him. To his surprise, the scale in his hand protected him completely from the fiery blast, the power of Neltharion's attacks sent the Vrykul king tumbling out of the dragon's cave. Neltharion's scale was more durable than any material MAGNAR had ever seen, and the Vrykul king soon set to the task of crafting the scale into a worthy instrument of war, eventually crafting the scale of the Earthwarder and a new sword by the name of Scale Shard. Both Scale Shard and the scale of the Earthwarder would paint MAGNAR's legacy in blood-stained glory as he led brutal assaults against the Nerubians, and led a massive campaign against the highborn elves who were occupied in Stormheim. Although MAGNAR's forces were victorious in their brief but bloody war against the highborn elves, the Vrykul king's legend of glory would come to a crashing halt. In a turn of betrayal orchestrated by the malevolent Helia, some of the Vrykul turned on their king, slaughtering his closest generals, his son Haruthnir, and eventually MAGNAR himself. Although he had died alongside his comrades and son in battle, MAGNAR would never ascend to the halls of valor. His spirit would linger within the tomb that had been carved in his honor, awaiting the day that he could sate the rage that prevented his ascension to the halls of valor. During the age following the Black Empire, Keeper Mimiron toiled endlessly within his laboratory and created a multitude of technological wonders that would help the Titanforge protect Azeroth. When prompted to create a weapon that could strike at enemies from afar, Mimiron crafted the first ever firearm. It took several attempts to perfect the weapon, and eventually, Mimiron called upon his fellow keeper Thorum to help in the rifle's construction. Thorum called upon the powers of winds and storms, and gathered them into a controlled orb called the Thunderspark, which would serve as the core of the rifle. Mimiron bound the furious concentration of the storm into the rifle, naming it TITANSTRIKE before gifting the powerful weapon to Thorum. Alongside his two faithful wargs, Hadi and Skull, Thorum used the legendary rifle as he hunted and stalked the monstrous devilsaurs of the southern regions of the world. Wherever Thorum traveled to, no matter which great beast he hunted, TITANSTRIKE was there. This would change as the ages passed and the betrayal of Loken shattered the unity of Azeroth's protectors. During this time of conflict, TITANSTRIKE was stolen by a Vrykul warlord by the name of Volund, who fled the northern reaches of the land and brought the rifle to Stormheim. There, with TITANSTRIKE in hand, Volund brought many Vrykul clans to heel, demonstrating the power he controlled with every pull of the trigger, the sky shaking and the heavens crashing with lightning and storm. Volund feared betrayal, believing that the power of TITANSTRIKE and the Thunderspark within were enough to convince even his most loyal soldiers to turn on him. Eventually, after Volund's armies had all but abandoned him, Volund ordered a tomb to be built in his honor. There, he commanded his few remaining soldiers to bury him inside upon his death, to ensure TITANSTRIKE was locked within. Volund ordered Titanforge security devices to be placed within the tomb and upon the door, in order to ensure that no one would ever reclaim the famous rifle born of thunder.